The Netherlands is a major sports country. We have world-class athletes. They have many titles and records to their names. We perform at the highest level in almost all branches of sport. This applies not only on the playing field, but also beyond. SportsNL is the international public-private sports platform. We've started this to connect the business community, government institutions, sports and social organisation and knowledge institutions in a broad network. Top sport requires high-quality products from innovative partners. Science is indispensable in sports. The latest technologies, be it data analysis or the most advanced sport products, they take our athletes further. This does not only apply to professionals, but to everyone. We join our forces, which offers opportunities for cooperation on an international level. At SportsNL, we like to see ourselves as a game changer. If we're asked to construct a state-of-the-art stadium, we'll also ensure it's 100% sustainable. And if we're designing great outdoor sports courts, we'll also make sure we have impact on the neighbourhood, tackling social issues through sport coaching programs. We use our cutting-edge know-how and technologies to create smart solutions that extend beyond sport. Together, we can ensure that by 2030, the Netherlands is seen worldwide as the partner for an inclusive, sustainable and innovative sports experience. Have a look at sports-nl.com and join our activities. Changing the game together.
Welcome to day 2 of this virtual SportsNL event. And a special welcome for our guests who come from France, Germany and Qatar, and of course also from the Netherlands. My name is Ruben Dubelaar. I have my own company called Green Wave, and I'm one of the liaisons of SportsNL, and I'll be moderating this session. So this morning we had a great session on digitalization, on esports and fan experience. And that was to exchange knowledge and to exchange ideas. And now in this session we're going to see some great innovations and pitches from several countries that are participating. So an opportunity for us to see what's out there on new innovations and solutions. So we have 9 pitches, and you know it's going to be some great number of presentations. So I need to be a strict timekeeper. So everyone has about 3 minutes. And if you exceed the time, I need to jump in. So please take that into account. And happily, I'm not the only one here in the studio. I'm together with Merit of Sport Innovator and Gerwald of Catchphrase. Maybe you can briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Ruben. My name is Merit Cloquet. I'm Sport Innovation Officer at Sport Innovator. And Sport Innovator is funded by the Ministry of Sports in the Netherlands. And we are the leading network for sports and exercise. And the main goal is to maximize the impact of sport innovations.
Perfect. Gerwald.
Gerwald van Oetelaar, founder of Catchphrase. And Catchphrase is an innovation partner of the Johan Cruyff Arena and the KNVB in digitizing the operations during the matches.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. So we do have a Q&A box. You can use it if you're an online viewer. Please use the Q&A box. We'll see if we can bring it in and ask it to the pitcher. And maybe, Merit, I can briefly ask you. We had a great discussion this morning. What were the main topics we discussed?
Yes, we had a topic about how to involve fans, fan engagement within events, and the role of digital and digitalization of it at the venues at one side and the consumers at the other side. And a takeaway was the world is changing quite fast, and events, the venues are reopening now. So how can we use the new insights and new innovations for the best experience? It's that's what we have been discussing this morning.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot. So what we'll do 3 pitches, and after every 3 pitches we'll have a short Q&A. And let's move to our first, let's say, contestant. We move over to France, to Footbar.
Good morning, everybody. Very pleased to be part of this great workshop. My name is Jacques Derigo, and I'm going to introduce you with the food bar, starting straight away with our little presentation. As you saw in our little video, I don't know if you can see the presentation. Yeah, we are the news Strava for football. So we are basically creating a football tracker that you're wearing on your leg. With an artificial intelligence that we trained with thousands of hours of videos. If we go to the next slide, we have a clear mission. We want to adapt football to the digital world to develop its practice and mainly the amateur, the grassroots football. And we are very confident that we can create the biggest community of footballers based on their real statistics. So it's not a community based on virtual data; it's actual statistics that we gathered on the pitch. So on the next slide, our concept, as I said, we have this artificial intelligence with the biggest database in the world of annotated gestures from football players, thanks to our partner, The Five in France, which is indoor facilities for practicing football five-side. The tracker is positioned on the leg. It's one of the lightest solution on the market. And we can detect specific statistics for football players, not only physical statistics, but also technical statistics. So passes, shots, the speed of the shot. So these are critical data that we can measure. Next slide. So our application where you gather all the information is gamified. So we are targeting teenagers around 15 years old. You have your own avatar, you have your own valorization of the player. So when you play after one game, your value can be a few hundred euros. After 100 games, you can be valued €1 million. The tracker is 99 euros. We are sold already at Decathlon in France. So we got an amazing partnership with them. And if we go to the next slide, you can see that in the future, our long-term business model is to be the real football data provider for NFTs with Sorare, for example, for Federation, for NFT platform, but also clubs like City or retailers. And to finish this little pitch, we wanted to share with you a great project we have in the Netherlands, which is the last slide. With KNVB, we were lucky to win a project with KNVB about a year ago. And now we are with 25 clubs, grassroots, football in the Netherlands. And we are very confident that the Netherlands can be, with France, one of the biggest markets to expand our product to one of the big football nation in the world.
Thanks.
So the last question is, do you want to be part of it?
I guess everyone wants to be part of that, Jacques. Thank you very much for your pitch. Let's go over to the pitch of Sport Data Valley. Auke Damstra.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. My name is Auke Damstra, and I'm really excited to tell you something about a unique program we have here in the Netherlands called Sport Data Valley. So hoping to see the slides, and then next slide, please. So there's a sports data revolution going on. There is an enormous amount of data. There are many devices, tracking devices, like Jacques just told, and that's so there's an enormous amount of data. But do you know how to organize this and what to do with it? Next slide, please. Well, research shows that organizing and structuring all this data takes a lot of time, more than 80%, which leaves little time for actually doing something with the data and analyzing the data. And that's where we come in. Next slide, please. So Sport Data Valley makes it easy to collect, manage, and analyze data. We help reduce the time for organizing and collecting this data, this 80% to 20%. And we do this with a number of things. First of all, we have a data and analytics infrastructure that is open to use and ready to use for artificial intelligence. On top of that, we build smart apps and features like monitoring tools, questionnaires, we have connections with all kind of popular wearables. We have personalized dashboards. We support cohort studies in sports and human movement. We have also our own data scientists and expertise that we can offer. And we allow you to run and write your own scripts. So really deep dive into the data if you have the knowledge. Next slide, please. So we have a few key principles which are really important to us. The first one is that it should all be privacy proof. So we think the data is yours and not of a company, it's yours, and you have to have control at all times of your data. The second is we want to offer an open platform. So our platform has an API, it can connect to every database or system. It's not the same as open data. So the data still is yours, it's in your own vault, and you decide if you share it with someone else. And the third principle is that we really want to connect science with practice. So we have scientists, but we also talk a lot with coaches and the sports practice. Next slide, please. So a few examples. We support over 150 projects in the Netherlands with very diverse goals. So for example, we offer a lifestyle check for employees, where we support that with questionnaires and tracking of with monitors or wearables. We develop coach dashboards together with our top skating coaches in the Netherlands. Ice skating, I have to say. Also, we work with the KNVB for talent monitoring. We work with several schools that schools in sports practice for monitoring injuries. And another example is where we work with a company that develops pills that measure your core temperature, and we connect that information with your heart rate data and how many steps you take in your activity. So really to prevent heat strokes, which is quite a dangerous thing if it's hot outside.
Okay,
and
can you please
last
keep
example,
an eye on the time? Yes, thank you.
Yes, last example is citizen science projects. We do a lot of that together with citizens. Yeah, and the last slide was contact details. So if you want to know more, you can visit sportdatavalley.eu or contact us with your questions at info@sportdatavalley.nl.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Auke. Let's move over to France again, to my coach, Clement Agarini.
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm Clement. I'm responsible for backend development at my coach. Basically, we address 4 market segments with 4 different business units. The first one, which is the historical one, is MyCoach Sports. MyCoach Sports provides software solutions for grassroots sports, both for individuals and teams. We partner with 10 Olympic federations to deploy our software solution to all of their members. This includes tools to manage content, plan and follow training sessions, collect game statistics, distribute official knowledge, and reach out to users through news and messaging. The second one is MyCoach Pro, which is an athlete management system helping almost 30% of professional football teams in France to collect and analyze data. On the sports side, we help teams track player performance, physical status, and optimize training. On the more, let's say, administrative side, we provide everything needed to follow up a player through its journey in an academy. Our IMS is used by national teams in multiple sports, such as the French Handball Federation, which is gold medalist, the French volleyball team, which is also gold medalist. The third one is MyCoach Tracker, which is a GPS tracker for the general public. We brought professional technologies to the Sunday League. Our tracker is certified by FIFA and can be used in official games. You just push a button, put it on your back, and then after the game, open your app and get various statistics such as number of acceleration, max speed, metabolic power, and so on. We worked closely with sports scientists to build scoring algorithms tailored by categories in order to, let's say, follow the progress during your years playing football. and basically moving team to team year to year. And last but not least is My Coach TV, which is a VOD platform aimed at everyone who wants to improve or learn from the best of any sport. We have courses with more than 20 athletes. Most of them are Olympic medalists or world champions. And as an example, we have a goalkeeping course with Tottenham Hotspur's goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, a swimming course with gold medalist Camille Lacour, and a basketball course with Evan Fournier. That's it.
Thank you very much, Clément. Let's go to the studio for just some quick questions to our first round of pitch contestants. Gerald, may I start with you?
I have a question for Auke. So I can imagine there's a lot of data that you collect, and I see initiatives, individual initiatives, and companies that actually use that data. Is there also a collaboration between those initiatives where they can actually learn from each other as well? And do you facilitate such a collaboration?
Yes, absolutely. So as I said, we have an open platform, but the data is not open. But if someone is willing to share data, then they can share data with different organizations. So for example, KNVB, they're quite open, want to share data with different soccer parties. So there you have an example where it's more open. On the other hand, we work, for example, with Jumbo-Visma and Sunweb, so in a relay race cycling, and they don't want to share data, but they do want to share knowledge and models. So sharing and between different organizations can be in different ways.
Perfect. Thanks you. Thanks, Auke. Merit, over to you.
Yes, I have a question for both Foodbar and My Coach. Same question, and I'm curious about feedback of their clients. What is the biggest win when they use your Foodbar or My Coach? Is it like time overview or new information, details? I'm curious. The biggest win.
The biggest win, Jacques. Let's first go to you, Foodbar.
Well, the biggest win is that a lot of people are scared because they never played with this behind the leg and this leg band. The biggest win is that you don't notice that you have something around your leg, and that straight away after the game, you get not only your performances, but also the ones from your friends. So you can compare yourself, and you also can compare to professional players thanks to the FIFA database. So this is 3-level information, your own performance, comparison with friends, comparison with pro, is what makes our product unique.
Sounds like a great product, Jacques. Thanks. Clément, over to you.
Yes, I'll answer because we address multiple markets, but I have to say that I think the biggest win is that you get everything in one single place. We work like a hub. We aggregate data from a lot of different sources, coming from the federation, for example, and we enrich it and work back with the federation on the enriched data. For example, we've written a white paper with the French Football Federation to explain how coaches in grassroots sport train this day.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Clément, and thanks a lot for your pitch. Let's move over to Germany. We go to Wolfgang of Teravolt. Wolfgang, good to see you again.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the time here. Am I in focus? My camera doesn't put me in focus. Good. Anyway, so Teravolt is a company that helps media companies in the digital transformation, and we create immersive and electrifying user experience across all the different screens. You know that OTT and TV platforms, they heavily invest in sports content, and on a weekend, there's not only one single sports of interest and of value to the customers. So also the way of consuming sports has changed significantly. There's long form, short form, there's frequent switch and zapping between different sources. We know already that 91% of all the sports viewers look for associated information. And all of them are somehow, by the mobile phones and tablets and so on, used to personalization and to being in control themselves. So TerraVolt created the sports solutions for any media platform that is called TV X-Ray. And can I ask you to roll the video now? Here's a short information. We're the official provider of the so-called interactive feed of the Bundesliga. And here I show you some selected features of the personalization. Example of a mobile phone, but it works on literally every screen. We integrate interactive layers on top of an existing environment. And here's an example of the multi-game mode. Imagine there's the Eredivisie going on and Premier League matches on. You want to see the Ajax match, but you're still interested in the Manchester Derby and Bayern Munich versus Dortmund. You select your own matches that are relevant to you. And per match, you can choose whatever is relevant, just the goals or all VAR interference or all cards or all shots on target, fully customized per each viewer. Next slide, please. Here's an example of how it works on a TV side. On a TV screen on top, there's an EPG filtered by sports, easy zapping from within. You don't have to go back to the mosaic. On the left-hand side, you see live statistics, live table, how a goal changes the standings, the scores of all the other matches going on. On the right-hand side, you see live statistics, the match related, so all tactical formations of each team. Each of the jersey inside of the first starting 11 is clickable and interactive, and you can immediately go into player stats, gamified like in the FIFA EA Sports game. And in the bottom, you have an interactive timeline where you see key incidences from a match. And by remote control or just tapping it on a touch screen, you select each individual icon and you can go immediately into a highlight, and that is created automatically by our artificial intelligence algorithms, and it plays exactly what you want to see as a highlight. Next screen, please. We also have that for a multi-sports proposition. So for example, you're watching in an Olympic scenario, a volleyball, but you're also interested in your domestic heroes. So let's say in the athletics, there's the Dutch javelin thrower or the high jumper, or in the 100-meter dash, there's the heat with your Dutch participation, or your French athlete or something like that. You subscribe to it, you tell the system what it wants, what you want to see, and it fires automatically video alerts into it, tapping on it, jumps to the different stream, jumps to the different content, and you see what is relevant to you. Next, please.
Wolfgang, can you keep an eye on the time, please?
Sure. Same for winter sports, and then we jump to the next one immediately. We have widgets, we know what is popular, we track, and we see 81% of our viewers use the match statistics and match switch. The highlight alerts are top ranked amongst the personal preference. Yeah, and then it works for all football, it works for many different other sports, and on the roadmap there's a lot to go. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Wolfgang. And from Germany, we move over to Qatar. Over to Qatar University, Dr. Roni Ibrahim. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
My name is Roni, and I'm an assistant professor of biomechanics at Qatar University. And I'm going to talk more about my research in order to reach a point where we can make it like a product. And my research basically focus on the role of biomechanics in precision medicine and precision coaching. So I'm going to focus on the second part, which is precision coaching. And I'm going to focus on the interaction between player and coach instead of player and fan. And I'm going to explain two projects that we are running right now. The first one is in collaboration with AFC Ajax and Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam, and also the Aspire Academy. And this project basically focuses on improving our use and the algorithm of sensor fusion coming from basically IMU, inertial measurement units, and optical markerless motion capture systems, and in order to give live feedback for the coaches in training and in match about the mechanics of movement of every player. We are starting now with the goalkeeper movement, specifically the diving saves in more like set plays, like penalties and free kick. And it's very promising to an extent that it can of course extend to improving the interaction between player and performance on the match and fans. But of course there we start to discuss how much information we want to give the fans about the mechanics of the movement of every player. In the second project, I'm collaborating with NOC NSF and specifically the Sailing Federation in the Netherlands in also developing live feedback algorithm to the coaches to give them like in the training session live feedback about the movement mechanics of their sailors, specifically on the foil board, which is a new material being used, and not much information has been given to the coaches in terms of how they can optimize their training sessions, etc. We are using mainly IMUs, so we are using mainly inertial measurement units there to give the coaches live feedback, and both projects are under process now, and hopefully soon we can publish the algorithms that can be used by coaches to make their own applications and track like in training sessions the athletes basically.
Thank you very much for this, for your pitch, and please stay with us. We'll be right back, and let's move from Qatar to Amsterdam to the H20 Esports Campus. Dirk Tuip. Dirk, over to you.
Good morning. Yeah, I have a few slides to present. I'm happy to join a little bit last minute, but yeah, if you look at my slides, H20 is all about next generation. So the new generation of heroes. Can I have the next, please? And it's all about playing video games, or casual or competitive, or watching video games. And if you go to the next slide, we are about esports and gaming. And you already talked about it this morning. If you look at the esports ecosystem, it has developed like sports. My background is also from top sports, and we see big similarities, but also a few differences. And especially the last 2 years with COVID, everything went online, and we want to bring that back to a social and physical experience. Can I have the next, please? And what you see there is that Team Liquid, this is one of the best teams in the world. It's more than only esports. It's also really about tech. Next slide. So you see that the new industry is rising and that a lot of new jobs are being created. And we are a combination of esports and tech. And on the one side, we have an esports tech campus in Amsterdam. Yeah, you can go to the next. That's right. So we are from sports, and we see that we can, we will create a place where talent on gaming, talent on esports, talent on tech will be gathered. And we have in Amsterdam a place of 12,000 square meters. It's an old school building and an old sports hall. We renovated it into a permanent esports stadium. Can I have the next, please? So our ambition is to create the #1 esports ecosystem. And we started in 2017 with the idea. Then the renovation started of the stadium, a permanent stadium for esports and gaming, and also the biggest gaming club in the Netherlands. And in March 2020, we started, and then COVID came in. So it was a bad timing. But during the last 2 years, we succeeded to make great steps. So the building of 12,000 square meters is full with startups, students, and companies on esports, gaming, and creative tech. And we are in a phase where the local government gave us permission to build new to construct new buildings. And I will tell a little bit more about that later. In the meantime, so this is a look at our permanent esports stadium. It's the biggest in Western Europe. This is the gaming club. And if you proceed with the next slide, you see the campus as a whole. It's 10,000 square meters, but we also have attention for tech development because gaming is also a lot of tech. So it's actually an esport tech campus. And we got requests from all over the country and also from abroad to also have H20 esports centers. And there we made a cooperation with Pathé, the cinema. And if you go to the next slide, we joined powers, and there we will introduce during this year on 10 locations in the Netherlands and 2 in France, we will introduce Go Gaming. And Go Gaming is about the existing cinema hall where we can create an esports venue, but also an esport gaming club where casual gamers, competitive gamers can game. They can just come in, and the advantage of, if you go one back, please, one slide back. Oh, sorry, go one slide. The target audience is casual gaming at the Go Gaming centers, but the idea is that the best talent goes to the campus, so to the national training center. So we want to, as you have in sport, you have always clubs, you have maybe regional talent centers and then national. We want to create the same for gaming and esports with a connection to tech. If you go to the next, if you look at the KPIs,
Dirk, please keep an eye on the time. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to reach 10,000 euro per setup with a customer satisfaction of 8. The advantage is that the cinema already has that kind of data, and they have already a lot of customers which exist. So we can grow towards a market-leading position in the Netherlands quite easily now, but we want to grow abroad, and we are looking for partners and maybe also investors to help us there. Thanks for the attention.
Thanks a lot, Dirk, on this great presentation and pitch. Let's move over to the studio to do a quick Q&A. Merit, may I start with you?
Yes, I have a question about development of Teravolt and the research of Qatar, actually. There's a lot of data usage you use, and while developing, I am wondering how you use these new insights when you practice. How do you use these insights for your development?
Let's move over to Qatar University for a quick answer on that.
Yes, we leave this mainly to the coaches. Like we try to give the information for the coaches, and we basically inform them about, okay, so they are maybe training in the wrong way. So you need to train them differently, because this for instance exercise didn't improve them in the way that you want them to improve from the data captured and from the data collected on the pitch. But we leave the main action to the coach. But our main target is to give them as much information as possible. For example, joint angles, joint angular velocities, forces being absorbed at joint, etc. And we leave the last action and the last decision for them.
Thank you very much for your response. Moving over to Teravolt, Wolfgang.
Barrett, did I get you correctly? You're talking about user data and not sports data, correct?
Yes, correct.
So the user data for us is the feedback, of course, what kind of widgets we insert and what performs very well. And of course, what we derive from it is a correction of our product vision. If you, for example, develop something that doesn't perform well, that isn't clicked often, that isn't chosen often. An example is season rankings across the whole season of a competition. Who's the top performer or something like that doesn't perform well is not so interesting as the live data is. So, for example, you saw the player KPI widget that we have. Dirk from H20, you will understand that you choose a player by the performance. And what we do over there is we amalgamate sports performance data per tactical position and calculate the right performance. So there's each, let's say, a playmaker who has all his performance data goes into it, average per season for the performance for that tactical position, average per season for a particular player, and day performance. The day performance is extraordinarily popular, and by that one we develop rather into the live data widgets. So what to visualize, what to show, what to give as option.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Wolfgang. Gerald, over to you.
Yeah, I have a question for Martijn, and it's before we started this session this morning, we talked about e-sport, physical sport, gamification, and it's basically separate subjects what we talk about. So I'm wondering, if you look at your dream of esports, do you see a version where esports and physical sports actually come together in a more like hybrid form, or do you really see it as two separate ways of performing sports?
Dirk, over to you.
This is for me, yeah, right?
Yep,
I saw some in the call. Yeah, as a top sporter, as a former top sporter, I'm mainly sporter, not gamer. So I have a lot of attention for hybrid forms of sports. Currently, we opened up a virtual sports center near the stadium, and there you have Hado. It's augmented reality-based dodgeball, 3 against 3. There are competitions, there are leagues, and that really has a direct connection to the metaverse, as they all call it now in the buzzword. But there are more examples of hybrid forms of sports, and we already see Zwift is, for example, also a great example where you have the physical activity and also the gamification at once. So I see those kind of forms where you have a big role for gaming and gamification within the sports, and where you even have the virtual and augmented reality world combined with sports. I foresee a big future for that.
Thanks a lot, Dirk, for your explanation. Great. Let's move over to the next pitch, and we go to France to a pitch of Sensai to Ilyas Talbi.
Yes, my name is Ilyas Talbi. I am the CTO and co-founder of Sensai. We are building some tools for boxing. Maybe I can have the pitch deck. Okay, perfect. So just next slide. Our boxing tools are made for both physical and mental resilience. We noticed some problems, especially in France. For example, there are 40% of French population who is overweighted or obese. 17% of employees had burnout in 2019. And France is one of the first antidepressive consumers. And there are increasing social tensions that are seen especially after COVID-19, and we noticed that boxing could be a way to solve this kind of problem. Can I have the next slide? So we are developing 2 projects. One is a punching bag, a connected punching bag made from used car tires. So we are trying to make it sustainable, and we are solving another problem, which is that we don't know what to do with the used car tires. They are burned in Asia, in Africa, and this is a huge problem for a huge ecological problem. Inside the car tires, we have a small device who is here. We are able to collect data about the punching power, about the reaction time, about the frequency of punches, and our goal is to connect multiple punching bags together and make some gamified experience. And that's the connection between sports and gaming that we are trying to do. We will reward also the users with NFTs, so it's a play to earn game made from the hardware. And then connected with that, we have a solution for the fitness clubs and for the coaching, boxing coach, which is based on human pose estimation. So it's what we are trying to do with the sensor fusion. Maybe we can have some connection with the Qatar. That's just some insight about the market of sports. We can move to the next slide. So we have some great partners like Sarah Ourahmoun, which is an Olympic medalist. She's the first French woman to get a medal at the Olympic game. Marzieh Hamidi is an Afghan refugee who was saved by France, and she's now based in Paris. She will be our ambassador, and Ari Romers. And we have some great partners. La French Tremplin gave us some subsidies to start with our project. We will be incubated with EDEC Business School in Station F. We are working with the IMT Starter and Cluster Grand Paris Sport. Next slide, please. And we have a great team. Our CEO is Yama Saraj. He's an Afghan refugee and he grew up in the Netherlands. Florian Günther is based in Munich. He has a PhD in physics. He worked previously with Audi and Porsche as a software engineer. Hendrik Klinkert is a former bank director. He will be our CFO. He's now retired, but he wanted to keep working on a cool project. And myself, I will be the CTO and the head of AI. I worked previously with the French boxing team in AI for performance analysis. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, yes. Moving over to pitch of Unique Esports. Let's go to Robin Zwegers. Hi, Robin.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. Yes, we can start the slides, and I will tell more about Unique Esports. Unique Esports is a project and a platform that make esports and gaming in the Netherlands more inclusive and accessible for everyone, and focusing on the target group with people that have a disability. So if we go to the next slide, you see a little bit about the platform. Everyone can search how they can join esports and gaming. So they can search on consoles or games or events or tournaments, and where they can join it with their disability. So if you go to the next slide, you see more about the platform with videos, how you can play on an Xbox or play on a PC or play on the PlayStation. And there are some videos that explain how you can use some controllers that are made especially for people with a disability. So you make it more inclusive for everyone, because in the game, you can't see if someone has a disability or not. And in the game, everyone is equal. And that we want to achieve with this platform. And if you go to the next slide, you see that it's in Dutch, but you can see below on the screen that you can search on if you have a disability with your ears or your legs or with your eyes. If you can't see enough, then you can search on each game which perks and which things you get to install to get to play the game equal as everyone. If you go to the next slide, see a little bit more about our strategy. In a year, we did a big reach activation. That was a commercial. You see it in the next slide, but we stay on this slide for one moment. Then reach a lot of people with and without disability. So get to inform everyone that everyone is equal in the game, and that there are more possibilities to get in contact with new people through gaming. Then inform them, then be relevant for everyone. So we created quizzes, polls, some little gamification things to get to know more about our target audience and to be more specific in the information that we send them. And also we created live streams and workshops. And the last one, 4, is sustainable support. So everyone with the disability can still talk to an expert that can help them further in their consoles, in their perks in the game, etc. And on their setup. And now we go see the commercial that we launched a few months ago.
Elke avond ga je chillen met je vrienden online. Komt het schot? Joh, wat een goal. Welke game het ook is. Wie je ook bent. De adrenaline giert door je lichaam. Mooi schot. Net in de laatste seconde nog scoren. Of balen omdat je net niet hebt gehaald. Wat je in het dagelijkse leven misschien belemmert.
Het is tijd voor het niet meer. Dus let's go.
Dat maakt tijdens het gamen geen verschil.
Ja, heerlijk. Kom op.
Heb jij nou ook zin om te gamen en wil je weten hoe dat kan met jouw beperking? Ga naar uniquesports.nl, ontmoet andere gamers, check passende games en vind alle tips en tricks.
Yes, and there you.
All right, thanks a lot for your pitch, Robin. Let's move over to Fitar, Martijn de Jong.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Martijn de Jong. I'm the co-founder of Fitar. Fitar is an innovative platform that helps people to stay fit through interactive gamified workouts. And we learned that when activities are fun to do, people achieve better results faster. So that's why we turned out a workout into a game and making it easy for to do it wherever you go and whenever you want. If you're at home, you're in the office, or you're in the gym, with Fitar, you forget that you are on a workout while you're actually working out. Maybe it's a little bit hard to understand, maybe, if I tell you in a few sentences. So I believe it's better to watch a video so you get a better understanding of the product. So we are building a device-independent platform, but as you could see, currently we're having our device is a mirror. We have different sizes of mirror, and we'll be also be launching a smart box very soon. And a smart box is a little setup box that you can connect to your TV with an HDMI cable, and you will have practically all the functionalities you will have and on the mirror, which you just saw. We have sold mirrors in Holland, Belgium, France, Switzerland, Sweden, Poland, Montenegro, Hong Kong, and Singapore. And we sold them either directly through retail or through a dedicated Fitar distributor. Currently, we're focusing on consumers through retailers and corporates who see the importance of vitality of the employees in the regions, Europe and Southeast Asia. The Fitar platform has content for everyone, as you could see, because we believe that everyone deserves the thrill to stay fit for life. And we're targeting whole families, so from the kids to the parents. This was my pitch. Thank you very much for your time. If you ever have any questions, I'm always available. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Martijn, for sharing this with us. Great pitch. Let's move over to the studio guests. Mirit, maybe to start with you.
Yes,
any questions?
Yes. I have one question for Senzai. I saw a lot of women in your presentation. And do you focus on women in sports as a potential new group?
Just one moment before you reflect, let me remind also for all the viewers and also the pitch contestants, if you might have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the question box, in the Q&A box, so we can pick it up and maybe ask 2 or 3 of those questions. Luis, back to you.
Yes, thanks for your question. So obviously, women in sport is very relevant for us. That's why in our ambassador we have 2 women. And for those who know Sarah Urahmoun, they know that she has all the values of the sport, of inclusivity, of all what sport is about. She was the first French boxer to win a medal at the Olympic game. She's giving some fitness courses for women, for pregnant women. So we are sharing the same values, and obviously it's a very relevant subject for us. And we believe that with Paris 2024, we will find some connections on this subject, and also on how to involve the younger in sport, and how to incite them to make more sport, and especially boxing.
Thank you. Does that answer your question,
Yes,
Meert?
it does.
All right. Gerald, over to you.
Okay, I have a question for Robin from Unique Esports. I love the idea, by the way. What I'm actually looking at, so it seems like when you enter your site, or when you do it, you already have your controllers. You know that you're going to be joining for playing esports. So I think there's a great target audience out there that doesn't know about this. That doesn't know about like specific controllers for gaming consoles. So do you have a strategy to actually reach out and actually find those people that are not included right now but would love to be included, but they just don't know where to find it?
Yes, great question. Thank you. We have a strategy that we are going to make content around the year with potential partners. So we are now in we make a year calendar with online tournaments, with new videos, new commercials, new live streams, etc. And the platform is connected to Unique Sports. So that's the sports side of the platform. And they have a database with hundreds and thousands of people with a disability that are maybe not always available to get in the swimming pool or get on the field, but really want to connect with other people through gaming. So that's a start database that we are working from.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Any questions for Fitar?
I was when I watched the video, I was doubting a little bit. Is this something you do in the gym? Is it something you do at home? Well, you answered the question in the end. You can actually buy the mirrors, and I would love to have a mirror like that. But I can imagine that it's not going to be cheap. Or is it like a mirror in a game, so you can use it as a mirror and you can actually play games? How does it actually work?
So we started out, and our main target group were gyms, hotels, and corporates. So purely B2B. Yeah. But then, of course, COVID hit, and we decided we had to change a little bit, change our strategy a little bit. So we decided to target consumers as well. So we started with a very big mirror. That mirror was 2 meters 10 by 90 centimeter. And then in the last couple of years, we decided to make smaller mirrors as well. So we have one 180 by 65, and even a smaller one, which you saw, which is a 60 by 40. Those mirrors, they range from the most expensive one was 4,500 euros ex VAT. And then the smallest one, the consumer one, including VAT, is 1,750. And we have a monthly subscription fee as well. But like you said, there are people who still think this is a lot of money, and it actually is. That's why we decided to invent the setup box, the smart box, as we like to call it. And that one is going to be around, we're going to launch it in the next few months. And we expect it to be sold at in between 450 and 500 euros. And that's that box you can connect to your TV, and you can have all the same functionalities the mirror has, except for the touchscreen, of course.
That's great. Does it answer your question? Yeah. I see we have one more person in the call who we haven't spoken to yet. Emma of Food Bar. Of course, Jacques did the presentation. Maybe any comments from your side on what you've seen or anything you would like to add on the presentation of Jacques?
Thanks a lot. I had no things to add, but I was really pleased to discover all this interesting startup, and some of you have practiced the same segment in other sports. So it was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And maybe there are also some opportunities to connect afterwards to some of the other speakers.
Yes.
So hopefully,
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Thank you for joining as well. Wasn't it great to see all these kind of? We had a roundtable discussion this morning. We've seen these pitches. I guess we've learned a lot, right? What have we learned, Merit?
Many. I have some takeaways, like keywords I've been written down, like hybrid, inclusive, real time, anywhere, role models. It all passed this morning. And we all have the ingredients in the solutions we saw.
Yeah. What about you, Gerald?
I actually had the same thing, and it's sometimes you see a list of pitches where it's esports, and then you're like, okay, is that like overlapping solutions, yes or no? And I really like the idea that it can actually target like a specific audience for, let's say, unique sports, over like so that whole very like strict idea of esports that we sometimes have of an esport gamer playing FIFA. That is so much broader than that, but also for a much broader audience. So that was very interesting for me to only hear that in these pitches, but it's obviously there's more out there that is also very broad and very broader than we actually know of.
Yeah. Good. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio today, Merit, Gerald. Thank you so much for your time. And let me also thank everyone who did a pitch. Food Bar, Sport Data Valley, My Coach, Terra Volt, Qatar University, H20 Esports Campus, Sensei, Unique Esports, and Fitar. Thank you all for participating. Thank you very much for showing what technologies and innovations are out there. I think it's great to compare all of these innovations from 3-4 different countries and to see what's out there on the market or what's going to be launched in the upcoming periods. So that's the future of sports. You're the future of sports. So thank you very much in joining this session. Tomorrow, for you to know, we have another session on innovation. That's going to be a roundtable, and we have another roundtable also on legacy and inclusivity. And that's the third day of this SportsNL virtual event. To the strategic partners, thank you very much for joining. To the companies that did the pitches, thank you very much for joining, and everyone who worked hard to make this to a nice result and some great day with a lot of inspiration. Thank you very much for collaborating, and looking forward to see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Netherlands is a major sports country. We have world-class athletes. They have many titles and records to their names. We perform at the highest level in almost all branches of sport. This applies not only on the playing field, but also beyond. SportsNL is the international public-private sports platform. We've started this to connect the business community, government institutions, sports and social organization and knowledge institutions in a broad network. Top sport requires high-quality products from innovative partners. Science is indispensable in sports. The latest technologies, be it data analysis or the most advanced sport products, they take our athletes further. This does not only apply to professionals, but to everyone. We join our forces, which offers opportunities for cooperation on an international level. At SportsNL, we like to see ourselves as a game changer. If we're asked to construct a state-of-the-art stadium, we'll also ensure it's 100% sustainable. And if we're designing great outdoor sports courts, we'll also make sure we have impact on the neighbourhood, tackling social issues through sport coaching programmes. We use our cutting-edge know-how and technologies to create smart solutions that extend beyond sport. Together, we can ensure that by 2030, the Netherlands is seen worldwide as the partner for an inclusive, sustainable and innovative sports experience. Have a look at sports-nl.com and join our activities. Changing the game together.